Yeah, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Roliver Queen. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing good. This is the second time today y'all seeing my face. Well, hearing my voice because I dropped the video earlier. But fuck it, we decided to do a randomized live stream. We all saw Wakanda Forever. So let me not waste any more time and let me introduce my homies. Elvis, feel free to go first.
Hello, glad to be back. I'm Elvis from Unsourceful Radio. I do unboxing, my own live streams, and yes, we saw Wakanda Forever, and I am just so happy to get into it with you guys. It's a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about.
All right, Sai, floor is yours.
Hello, I'm a Twitter friend of Ro, and I'm just here to answer any questions and give a little bit of input
All
on
right,
the
all right.
movie.
All right, thank you guys for making it. I know short notice, but yeah, we here. And hold on, I got to do my usual ritual. So I got to decide which drink I want to drink. Do I want to do a mango margarita or do I want to do a mai tai? Y'all guys got to help me out. Which one do I want to do? I'm talking one of the other side. Can somebody help me pick a drink, please? A mai tai or a
Go with my
margarita?
go with the Mai Tai.
All
Oh, I
right,
was gonna say margarita. I don't know.
we split down the middle. All right,
Maybe
Kenny said
tiebreaker.
Mai Tai. Kenny in the chat said Mai Tai. Kenny, thank you for popping up. Appreciate you. Yeah, I got the fedora on. My hair's fucked up, guys. It was either the hoodie or the fedora, so I just went with the fedora. He said Mai Tai all the way. All right, so let's do it. Boom. All right, we ready to get started. So, yo, let's get to it. Let's start with initial thoughts, like initial thoughts out the way. Just bare bones. How did you feel? Then we could go into the nitty gritty. So, Sai, uh, floor is yours. What do you think? Initial thoughts.
I thought the movie was moving, but very long, and beautiful, and that it also didn't need to exist at all.
Whoa,
Okay.
whoa, okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna have the hottest take about this.
hold on. Let it finish. Let it finish. Let it finish. Hold on. Hold on. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, go on. Let's hear this.
I think we could have lived without it.
In what sense? In the sense of like the Black Panther kind of storyline, or like it in the MCU as a whole? Like what point was this like? Does this mean could this have not existed for you? Because this movie does a lot of stuff for like a lot of different branches of like the genre and also as a franchise. So what like really what segment is this coming at from?
Well, when Chadwick Boseman passed away, I couldn't think of how to move forward. So I was like, let's just not right now, give it a few years and kind of start from scratch. But that's not necessarily fair to the real people who worked on this movie.
Mm,
So, like, we got it and it was great to see, but I also feel like it would have been equally okay to not do it at all. I don't think we would have
mm,
lost anything in the MCU by not doing it. But in terms of the real people who worked on it and their careers, it's worth it in that sense, but not necessarily for the MCU, in my opinion.
I actually agree, and I had that exact kind of feeling before this movie came out. Not Mike, I still think this would have been an interesting way to go, but it's mainly based on like Ryan Coogler when he was saying before Chadwick Boseman's death and after Chadwick Boseman's death, where he was talking about how he had been writing a script about like Chad for like Charlie's Next Adventures and was really kind of plotting out where his character would go, but now he had to scrap all of that, because Chadwick passed away. And my thought was, why not just pretend those happened and just do like a time skip, Like we don't
mm,
like this is a story we don't really need to see. Let's do like a time skip where that all those are implied to happen, which obviously wasn't feasible because the MCU, you can't just have one movie take place like 15 years later. It's
mm,
impossible. But like that in a perfect world, I think that would have been kind of fun to do. And maybe recast people, make it more kind of a natural kind of thing. We're older, that kind of stuff.
mm,
But yeah, I totally see what Sai is saying as well. Is that like it's such a big upheaval, and my own thoughts in the movie is that I liked it a lot. I thought it was very emotionally moving. I really liked how it played into like themes. It felt very substantial. That's what I love most about superhero movies. The good ones, or at least the fun ones, don't have to be good, but they're at least confident in what they want to tell emotionally through the characters. I'm in. Um, yeah,
By the way, yo, that's Elvis's bird going off. By the
I,
way,
I'm sorry if you follow on Source on Radio, all my fucking videos. It's okay, so that's probably why I'm not popping off on YouTube. This fucking bird. Um, but going back to what I was saying, um, but what holds me back is that it has to cover so much ground. Like everything it does is in response to Chadwick's death. Like everything, like beat for beat, is because of Chadwick's death. Like, and that's a shame because you feel it like having to cover up for his loss, like at every step of the way. Like so, it feels less like a natural story and more like, you know, trying to deal with his death on screen, and it's like so that it comes out very jumbled. I think it works, but it's like, okay, that's happening because he's no longer around, and that's happening because he's no longer around. It's like it just takes you out of it. Takes you out of it.
okay. My thoughts. Um, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's well documented how I feel about these superhero movies, man. Nowadays I'm not a fan. Like we just off of what Black Adam like 2 weeks before, and I didn't have the best time with that. So for me, going into Wakanda Forever.
What, Adam?
Uh,
What?
hmm?
A movie came out a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, we both hated that movie. But yeah, so
I
I'm
liked
going.
it.
You didn't you? Oh, you like Black Adam?
It was a fun,
What?
entertaining movie, and
The,
that was it.
none of
Yeah,
the
you see.
this is what I mean. Okay, what I said before was like I like when movies are fun, but if the movie has nothing to offer, like in terms of why it's fun, then it just kind of falls flat. Like I get it. Black Adam wanted to focus on the action and the action set pieces, but it like what does action set pieces mean if like the characters are so non-existent? Like that's I get it. Yes, he wanted to focus on only the action and the spectacle, but there's no foundation. Like even John Wick, a franchise that focuses only on the action, right? At the very least, it does the minimal work of going like, okay, we're gonna have like this lovely montage of John Wick having fun with his dog, and then we're gonna have the dog fucking murdered brutally. Okay, we got it, we get it. Now we can just really get into the action, and the fun action. We got like something to carry us through to like, get our blood pumping. Instead of Black Adam, he's like, it's just all action, like, and there's no downtime, no character development, and I just found it boring. Like, yes, I can understand it's trying to be fun, but so boring.
I think it was. I can see, like I said, I can see where people can say it's entertaining. Like for me, because I think you got to remember, like, um, not everybody is like super invested into the superhero thing. So I can see how people thought it was entertaining. Like I don't. I get it. For me, I get it. The people that say it's entertaining and they believe that, like I generally believe side thing is entertaining, and more power, to her. For me, we're not gonna stay on Black Adam too long. But yeah, I thought for me it was. I thought I seen Black Adam. I seen that movie plenty of times before. That's where my stance on it was. But yeah, I'm fresh off of Black Adam, so I go into Wakanda Forever. I don't have expectations at all for Wakanda Forever. Like I don't have expectations for any superhero movies. I go in with just a blank mind, and Wakanda Forever satisfied me. This is the first movie in a very long time where I haven't fallen asleep in the theater. Like it kept me engaged from start to finish. Like my eyes were glued on that screen. I felt like it had a lot of heart. The emotion was there. There were several scenes in that movie where there were tears. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think that was an acting. I genuinely feel like them folk were in them feels during the scenes. So that hit me hard. They had to cut the corners, because of Chadwick's death. I get it. Um, and I like the way they play that in there. But For me, it was solid. I thought the action was pretty cool. I like the way that they delved in, to the culture again, Namor's culture. That was pretty cool. Because one of my biggest highlights of the first Black Panther was that it's very cultured. So this time we got like two different cultures blending into one. So that was pretty awesome. That was cool to see. Fight teams were awesome. I thought Shuri in the Black Panther suit was pretty cool. And overall, I had a great time. Like it for me, it felt like it felt like a sequel, man. Like there was obviously some progression from the first movie. And obviously Chadwick wasn't there, but I feel like the way everything was handled for the most part was pretty solid. We will talk later on about the end credit scene and what's gonna happen with there, but so far I was very pleased, man. I was very pleased. Like I left that movie theater, with a warm feeling in my heart. And it's been a while since I watched a movie or, read a comic book at this point that left me with a warm feeling in my heart. So that's my initial thoughts about Black Panther. So with that said, let's go into the nitty-gritty. So I know there's this whole thing about, Namor when we first found out about, who he is. I know they changed some things about the history, the character. So what y'all think about Namor, man? Let's talk about that. Sai,
Well,
what you think about Namor?
I liked him in the movie. I'm not too familiar with him as a comic book character. I've only read about him and T'Challa in New Avengers, written by Rick Remender. No, it wasn't Rick Remender. Some other guy.
Probably
A few
Bendis.
years ago. Who?
Probably Bendis.
No, it's not him either.
are you sure you're talking about the Avengers realm of Hickman?
It's
Could have
Hickman.
been Hickman. Yeah, it
It's
was.
Hickman.
Yeah.
That's the name. So he's in there, and him and T'Challa are like awful to each other. So that's the only exposure I've had to him in the comics. So his on-screen appearance was fine. To me, it was better because I like the Mesoamerican angle they gave him. It was beautiful to see. And then the actors who got to play those roles are so proud of it
Mm,
that I was, like, about to cry, like, listening to them talk about how happy they are and how they watched Black Panther, the first one, and they were like, "That would be cool if we could get something like that, but, it'll never happen for us," and then it did, and then they got to play those roles, and then I took a peek in, like, Mexican Twitter, after I saw the movie, and I
Oh,
just saw,
what
like,
a
how
cesspool.
happy
Oh,
it wasn't a cesspool. I mean,
oh,
there were a few
oh,
people who were mad, but
yeah.
most of them were proud.
No, that's what I mean is that like there's been a lot of backlash against Latin Twitter from like indigenous Twitter, and I'm like, this is
Oh.
what's the fucking point, you know? And I'll get into that when I talk about Namor.
Oh, okay.
But like it's disgusting, and I hate it.
I
yeah,
didn't
let's
know
Ty
about
finish.
that.
Yeah, but keep going, Ty. We'll get to you, Elvis. Don't worry. But
I just thought it was cool to see I learned some things, or it was a place for me to start to go research some things, and I liked the way that they were portrayed in the movie, except I felt it was just so dark. That just could be
mm,
because I can't see, very well. That could be it, but I felt it was very dark when we got to their portion of,
Oh,
Talokan, I think that's the name of it, and I
hmm
wish that we could see, like, more of their city. We had, like, close views of things, but I know that they're not the main character of the movie, so what we got was beautiful, and I enjoyed the way they were written into the story. I liked the way they sounded.
mm.
I was just so impressed with the creativity, given to that portion of the movie. So I have no notes on that. I liked everything.
Okay. Oh, hold on. We got CJ in the building. Yeah. Appreciate you coming through, brother. You just want to introduce yourself to the people real quick before we move on to Elvis.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's CJ from Three Black Geeks. Just here to talk some Black Panther and yeah, get down to the nitty gritty talking about this.
Yeah, we talking about Namor right now. But yeah, I'll get to you after Elvis. What'd you think about Namor?
well, First of all, I gotta apologize. It's pronounced Namor. Okay, you gotta put
My bad, man.
okay.
My bad, brother.
He's not ambiguously pale no more. All right.
My bad, brother.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing to me in the movie, where he's like, "Call me Namor," and everyone's saying Namor in the movie, like I just felt like totally real to me. People just not putting pronunciation accents on shit. When it comes to names, oh god, man, I hate people saying I know I have an English first name, but like everyone in family says it particular Spanishy kind of way, anyway, and so I hate hearing it like the American inflection kind of way. But no, I really enjoyed Namor. I love everything about it. Okay, so when the first Black Panther movie came out, I really hated this one line where Claw is saying like, "Oh, El Dorado exists, but they were looking in the wrong place. It's in Africa." I'm like, okay, I get where you're trying to go, but you can just shut the fuck up, you know? Like, I hate that line so much because, like, what's the purpose of that line? Oh, you know, El Dorado exists, but it's not like a Mesoamerican, South American myth. It's over here. Bullshit. I know. I don't know. It's nitpicks, but I didn't like that line at all. So what they did with Namor kind of felt like a response to that a bit. Now, I did have my reservations when he was first announced and his whole direction for the character was kind of revealed. Mainly because Marvel, Disney, they do a lot of stuff for just like bare bones kind of things, and I think with like indigenous Mesoamerican kind of cultures, there's a lot of history of movies kind of like glomming together different aspects randomly, like here's Aztec, Incan, Mayan stuff, and so we got like a bunch of like Namor's costume and all the other kind of tribal outfits. It kind of gave me that impression. But in the movie, it's so well handled. Like, I'm big enough to admit that I was wrong about like that. But like, but going to like that Mexican Twitter thing and that Latin Twitter as a whole, like Sai was saying, there's this kind of big backlash from like indigenous, Latin, South American Twitter about how like Mexican Americans or Mexicans or like any kind of Latin Americans or Hispanic Americans are like, South Americans, that they're not the ones that they can't be proud of this kind of thing. They can't see themselves in this kind of thing. And I just find that such bullshit. Like there's a couple like large tweet threads about how like he's representing Mayans. He's not representing you Mexicans. He's not representing you Ecuadorians. He's not representing like giant like. And you know why? Because like he's a Mayan character from a city that was never colonized. Not like you guys. I'm like, well, for one thing, they show what happened to the fucking colonized South Americans in the fucking movie, right? Like, oh, they're not having a great time, all right? I'm sorry that some of us got like fucking tortured by Spanish, fucking missionaries and conquerors and shit like that, and Namor and his people didn't, but like, fuck up, all right? Not our fault. A lot of us have like recessive blue-eye genes, all right? That like every third cousin I have has like bright blue eyes. Okay, that's not their fault. They have brownest ass parents, come out big blue eyes. Okay, I wonder how those genes got there. I'm sorry, and so I just find that so hypocritical, and it just gets me so mad. Like, oh, but like they're right. A bunch of Mexicans, a bunch of South Americans, they're really really pale, and like, well, one, you have a bunch of like fucking Nazis who like escaped South America, and you have like 80%. I thought we all kind of agreed to not mention this out of respect to like Puerto Ricans because they're like 90% fucking white as shit. But like again, giant history of horrible colonization, and then people are trying to use that as like this gotcha for people who are saying like they like Namor and like seeing themselves represented Namor, and it just annoys the fuck out of me. It's so disgusting. And today, like even Tena Huerta, who plays Namor, he's like, yes, this is great Latino representation. And I'm like, see, fuck off. Even that fucking actor playing Namor is saying this, that we can do this. So I even asked Firo, like when I first started seeing this, like, were like native Africans this fucking annoying about Wakanda? And like in seeing African Americans, I'm like, because this is just so despicable to me. It is.
There's a lot of crazy stuff happening. Like a lot of the discourse around like the movie, like how accurate the stuff. For me, it's silly. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's silly. That's why I block a lot of it because But at the end of the day, like I don't mean to be dismissive, but maybe I am at the same time. It's a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a movie, and I think I'm not trying to sound like an MCU, like Dick Rod, but I think a lot of care was taken into how Wakanda was portrayed, the culture around there, and for Namor's culture as well. I feel like a lot of care was taken for both cultures, and I
Yeah.
put this on the timeline
I
the
mean,
other
you know
day.
me. Like I'm not. I don't give the MCU like no fucking.
Yeah,
Like I like I think if I see bullshit, I'll call it out. And that like I'm the biggest fan of Eternals, who doesn't want a sequel to that fucking movie. I love it. I think the movie's almost a masterpiece, but I do not want a sequel. So I'm not like a big MCU. Like
yeah,
I'm not like always for them. Like don't ever make an Eternals too.
yeah. But like so, like I watched the I don't know if you guys saw, but I put out a tweet last week. I think CJ saw it too. It was a Hulu special talking about Black Panther, and they didn't cut corners around that shit at all. Like they really made sure the cultures that were being portrayed, they did their best to like do it accurately or to the best of their ability. So that's why I didn't pay attention to a lot of the discourse. But yeah, I do want to get to CJ. So if you have any final thoughts about Namor, go ahead, Elvis. Namor, excuse me.
Well, I just thought he was such a really interesting character, and I don't say this a lot, but I would love this movie about him. I thought that a lot of stuff they added. Again, I'll agree with a couple of the kind of complaints that he's like not really the comic character. The only thing they really carried over was like his attitude, his personality. But everything else they just junked and just did recreate wholesale, which I don't mind because that goes for like 90% of MCU characters. So what are you even complaining about at this point? We're like 13 years in, get over it, you know. Um, but yeah, I love a movie about him. I thought there was so much like hurt and tragedy to the character that I would love to see explored.
Okay, what about you, CJ? Thoughts about Namor?
I actually like the character. One of the things that I saw a lot of people, and like I said, that's the nature of fandom. Especially when it came to this movie, there's that a lot of people jump the gun. When they see a character, visually changed in some way, and a lot of people was, and granted, I don't know if it verbally came from Marvel that they wanted to change up Namor's background because they didn't want to be one for one like Aquaman. I don't know how true that was. I don't know whether that was just
Mm,
articles from outlets and not from Kevin Feige himself. But I didn't mind the change because at the end of the day, like at the end of the day, if you get to the core of who the character is, the arrogance, the attitude, his demeanor, and all that stuff, that's all that matters in the
yep.
grand scheme of things. This it now is it definitely a big change in terms of him visually with the as Techian and all that stuff? Yes. But at the end of the day, the fact that they acknowledge that he outright said he's a mutant, the fact that he has that arrogance,
Yeah.
the fact that by the end of the movie, the way he talks, it's like that he's a dangerous person. Even when he was like, "Oh no, my end goal was to basically kind of make it to where we both are Wakanda and Telekium were like teaming up. So if anything, they need me more than I need them. This is all part of my plan." But the way he says it
Mm,
comes across very menacing and serious. Like and it's not like chewing the scenery. And I think
mhm.
that's what worked. Even when he, I mean, pretty much was spoiling it, but like when he kills Queen Ramonda and stuff, he's like, "Bury your dead, get to your, injured. Hey, we're gonna saddle up later." Like it was like, oh shit, like he okay, okay.
Mhm.
And the way they played him up, like you understand, yes, he's the bad guy, but like he's an adversary in a different way versus the typical bad guy. Oh, I just want to destroy the world. It's like, no, he has a reason for going after him because they decided to go underwater first. Totally understand. So I think overall, I think he worked as a character. And I'll even go so far as to say, like, I'm one of those people where it's like, I'm not gonna say that representation doesn't matter. No, representation does matter, but I feel more than anything else, to me, as long as that person is, you get an actor in that role, if they're playing it cool, If people see themselves in Namor, great. And it's the same thing with me when it comes to black characters. Like, going off base here real quick, like Yaya being Wonder Man, for instance, right? I don't see that as representation. Never fucking did. I just see him like, no, he's a great actor. They got him for Wonder Man. That's it. And so for some other people, they see it as representation. I'm like, sure, I guess. I don't see it, but sure. So, what Elvis was bringing up, the whole thing with indigenous folks, I can understand. Not saying I co-sign the stupidity, but like I get it, because from their point of view, it's like, what's the big deal? I don't get it. This isn't representation. But like the way they're conveying it just comes across more ignorant than actual, like, okay, I get it kind of thing, and it's just the whole, like I said, I'm not Hispanic in any sort of way, so I stay out of that. That's none of my business. That's that group's, hey, they can hash it out however you want to. But I do appreciate what's his face saying, hey, that's cool, but this is really more so for indigenous folks, because they're not really at the forefront compared to Hispanic folks and things like that, which I think that's something that we as a society have to get better on, in terms of really distinguishing between Hispanic, indigenous, and all that stuff. Because, a lot of people, when they do that whole list of like, oh, Hispanics, they're eating in the MCU, and they bring up America Chavez, it's like, America Chavez ain't, like, the girl isn't really.
Now she is, because they fixed it, but they didn't fix it in the movie. They didn't fix it. But I'll let. I just want to.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm done.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say, like, I totally agree, but that's not really what they were taking. Like, saying that, like, it's not. They're not saying a big deal. It's more like they see it as a big deal, but they're also kind of excluding a lot of other people from that. And even though, for the vast majority of us, all have that kind of shared heritage in some way. And especially in South America, like, it's not like up here in North America. In South America, a lot of that heritage, those are really blurred lines. Like, it's so much more people coming from like the mountains. Like, I have an uncle who was like part of like a tribal village, So it's like, it's not that cut and dry down there. And so that's why I felt it was like so annoying. Like, again, I get it. It's if there's lots of like native and indigenous tribes down there that are still like going, and they have like very strong cultural ties, but those are cultural ties that kind of go through the vast majority of us, So it's like, you're just being gatekeepy and douchebaggery for no reason, Like, I get what you're saying, but you're going at it the wrong way. And it's me off.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, overall, they did a pretty good job, I think. And I think it's kind of weird, because like, once the dust settled with this movie, a lot of folks that had gripes with it, it's like they begrudgingly are now like, okay, I was wrong. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. We told you to wait for the movie to drop before we start jumping the gun here. Because I would rather the movie drop, and then it's like, oh yeah, they fucked it up, versus assuming that they fucked up. And it's like, well, no, they didn't. They actually did a pretty good job with that. And I mean, granted,
batting average, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I used to be guilty of that too, and I had to stop myself. I was like, you know what? Let me not jump the gun, because I could be wrong. Let me see how it plays, and then it's, you go from there.
Okay. And I'm gonna keep my thoughts, on Namor very brief. Hey, bro, I can't wait till he clapping Sue Rich's cheeks. Can't wait. I can't wait. That is a handsome.
Don't you see that, like, he's like 500? Don't you see that? That's a problematic age gap.
Hey, fuck all that.
Which is why it's wrong for you to ship him with Shuri.
Hey, listen.
You're like, oh my, you're so problematic for shipping him with Shuri.
Oh,
everybody.
Please, fuck that. Listen, let me tell you something real quick. That is a handsome man. That is a very handsome man. I can definitely see a scenario when the Fantastic Four come in the mix. Like, listen, I ain't gonna hold you. I want to see Sue Richards cheat on Reed Richards with him more than I want to see Storm and Black Panther get together. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I want to see that storyline, because listen, he can make it work. He can make it work. Like I said, I was very convinced by his portrayal. Like I said, I only have like a base knowledge of Namor, but still, that's why I wasn't really bothered by the changes. Listen, like I said, I always say this when it comes to, changes, race swaps or whatever. Like, I may have an issue with it initially, but at the end of the day, I kind of just let it go, because, bro, it's the multiverse or whatever. I thought Homeboy did a pretty good job. I thought he was pretty menacing. Like, he went all the way. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, he convinced me. He was very entertaining. And I can't wait to see more of him in the MCU. And I'm very happy to see, how enthusiastic he is, how excited he was. Like I said, I watched that Hulu special. That Hulu special like opened up my eyes to a lot of shit. So it was cool to see that. And I'm excited, man. They did their thing with Namor. For a while I thought it was BS because I remember when I think it was Avengers Infinity, was it either Infinity War or Endgame, when I think they teased it because I think they were like leaving breadcrumbs. Like they ain't gonna do it, bro. They're not gonna do it, but they did, and I'm very happy with the way they did it. And again, I'm very happy with the enthusiasm. And again, maybe I'd have more to say if I had more of a Namor background. But for what I saw, I was very pleased, man. So, and that's why I stay out of the whole beef that's happening regarding his portrayal. Because I'm not of that culture. So whenever I see cultures or races going at it, it don't matter if it doesn't matter if it's in the comic book scene. If I'm not a part of it, I stay out because that's not my business. But as somebody with a very base knowledge, I thought Homeboy did his thing. I really did. And like AJ mentioned, the ending when he said, "Hey, bro, we need them." I ain't gonna hold you. I was like, I'm looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to whether it's a Namor solo movie or whether we're gonna see him in Wakanda again or any other movie. But I'm very, very, very pleased with Namor, man. Very
Also,
pleased.
also the fact that they kept his generals alive.
Oh shit.
Yeah, both of his generals still alive. Like they didn't get killed. They just got taken out the fight, but they still alive. That's why I'm like,
Yeah, that got me excited because they
I
were
was like,
cool.
all right, cool. And I think I would give the MCU credit too. They're doing a better job of keeping people alive instead of just like, nope, kill them off, done. They're through. And it's like, all right, nah, you're being smart. You're keeping them alive. We need that. So
Except for poor
And
Icarus.
and
yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
I'll also say this too. Like I ain't gonna hold you. I sympathize. Like for me in this movie, like one of the things I really enjoyed about, like I sympathized on both sides. Like I see why Namor, wanted to get rid of Riri. And I could understand why Wakanda wanted to, hold it close. Like I see he did a good job of making me feel like, damn, bro, should I be rooting for him or should I don't know, man.
I never
So
had that problem. I understand him. I empathize with him, but he's an asshole. I'm sorry.
but that's the problem. I
no, that,
like assholes though.
of course you do. I know, but no, I think that's what really. Like, I mean, like they captured Namor's personality, like they did, because he's a dickhead. He's such an asshole. He's a douchebag, haughty.
Because he could have easily let Riri go, and he still stuck to his guns. Like, nah, she got to go. And I was like, oh,
he has
okay.
he has a gigantic army. He could make himself like his own, stable nation. He doesn't need to go after all this shit. He's like bombing civilian centers. People are like, oh, Namor is an anti. No, he's a straight up villain, man. He's a straight up villain. But that's fine because he works, and so it's fine to call people villains even if they're like sympathetic for like a little bit. It's been 500 years. He's been like 30 for like 300 years. He doesn't like. He's just an asshole.
He's a whole villain. You're right. Because I mean, he had the Phoenix Force flooded Wakanda. That's a villain move. Like
he's killing like kids. Like who knows how many kids died? He knows how many kids died in this movie, when he bombed it's like the middle of the city.
I love they didn't shy away from that. They was just like, nah. He kills everybody. They ain't no like, oh, the kid. No, the kids probably got drowned too.
Like Nakia just luckily she's there to like catch one of them being pulled off by the riptide. Like that, these people are dead.
I mean, since we're on the topic, so we're gonna talk about the Queen dying. So how we feel about that? Okay. Yo, Sai, what you think? How you feel about the Queen dying? Like, let's talk about it.
She didn't have to die. Like, I was like, why we gotta go through all that? We already dealing with the Black Panther not being there, T'Challa's not there. Now we gotta kill the Queen. Whatever. But I knew it was coming when Namor said that something about you can't really be a hero until, I don't know, something about tragedy makes you a leader, something like that. So I was like, yep, she's gonna lose everybody. They're gonna do it like Batman. And they did. I didn't like it, but it is what it is. Because at least in in this culture, people don't die, so we'll see her.
Yep, that's very true.
I would say this, watching it with critics, it was different than the general audience because went to the critic screening. I was caught off guard because I was like, oh, he wasn't playing around. He actually went for it because I was thinking, okay, she gonna survive and be in a hospital. It's like, oh no, she's dead. Like, holy shit. And I think Angela Bassett first pushed back against it, and then Ryan was like, come on, Angela, it's comic books, you ain't really dead. So,
Mm.
I
I
mean,
should have laughed. I'm sorry, I should have laughed.
he really, he was like, and I was like, Ryan got a point, it's like, are you really dead? Like, come on, but like I was like, they really went for it. They really was, and I know, and I understood some people that was like, oh man, why do we gotta die? Da, 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 da. And I get that. I totally understand. But yeah, the fact that, but when I saw it the second time with general audiences, they were like, you could hear a pin drop. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I heard people like, you fucking kidding me? Like, like it went from they were a little mad to like, okay, like, damn, like they shit. Okay, wow. Oh, wow. Damn. That, so it was great seeing that. It was great seeing those kind of reactions and stuff more than anything else. So I was stunned that he did that more than anything else. That's more stunning than Coulson getting stabbed in Avengers.
Oh yeah, definitely. Me, I ain't gonna hold you. It was rough going into the movie. It's rough going into a movie with Chadwick being gone. So them going the extra mile and killing her off, I was like, God damn! Because at first, when they're trying to revive her, I'm like, all right, bro, this is gonna be fine. How many people have they saved from drowning before? We've seen this before,
multiple people.
And then all of a sudden was like, oh, she passed. I was like, oh,
are you fucking kidding me? Like, damn, like
Exactly.
oh, yeah.
I did not think until the very last second. I thought what I thought was gonna happen, and I was up until they said like, "Oh no, she's dead." Be quiet. What I thought was gonna happen up until the very last second was that, you're gonna have this maybe kind of visually ambiguous scene with her, like in like the afterlife and everything. That they were gonna give back to her, and then she's gonna like wake up. But then nope, she's dead. Like because like the way they frame it, it's a lot of tension in that scene. And I thought again, I thought like bro, like we've seen so much loss already, like and they just keep pulling the trigger. And I feel like it's one of those things where like I agree with Side that it didn't really need to happen, and it really only happened just to kind of like give more ammunition to Shuri's character arc. That was, they had to kind of beef that up because there's so much going on. And I feel like Shuri's character arc really only gets into gear in the last third of the movie. But they do a lot to make sure that it has enough ammunition, enough momentum. And this felt like more like a part of that. But again, they needed to do it because they already spent much time on Namor and the Atlanteans and like Riri and Nakia and Okoye and all these other stuff they got like spinning around. And so like I felt like it wasn't necessary, but also the movie would have fallen apart without it.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the movie would have fell apart without it. I don't know. I feel like that's a tough pill to swallow. I'm sorry.
I mean, what I mean is that like if you need Shuri to like have that kind of character kind of change and shift in order to like bring. I thought it was a really nice way to resolve like her arc and Namor's arc and everything like that in a way that made sense. That called back to the original movie and the themes of the original movie. But without that, like, where do you go with Shuri that isn't like your same standard kind of story, And like, I feel like No Way Home tried something similar, but did it in a way worse way. Where like they wanted to have like this big kind of like arc for Peter Parker, and that's when they had to kill Aunt May, and have him be like, oh, he's gonna kill Green Goblin. Like the thing is, you don't give a shit about Green Goblin because Green Goblin is like a non-character in that movie. Meanwhile, Namor is like giving a lot more ammunition, so you understand like where they're both coming from. and so this worked a lot better than No Way
Yeah.
Home did.
I mean, I think more than anything, it's kind of strange because like, and it's why it feels weird. I always say fans are fickle because like, fans will be quick to sit there and talk about there's no stakes in these movies, everything is just clean, da da da
Mm,
da. And then it's like the key killer, and I'm like, there you go. Like they literally solidified nobody's. I mean, anybody can get it, in a way. Granted, Shuri isn't going to get killed, but you still keep that danger intact. Like, okay, shit, you killed Queen Ramonda. Like, damn, okay, shit, didn't see that coming. So I mean, I'm down for whenever they do stuff like this every once in a while and stuff. But I mean, even what you were saying, Els, with like Aunt May, I was 50-50 on it, and I'm still am because on one hand, I thought it was fine for what they were doing in the movie, but at the same time, it was like you could have kept her alive. You could have, but
yeah.
that was their way of trying to placate the fans that wanted the end result to be broke Peter Parker, lonely by himself, and all that stuff. And I'm like,
I feel
but
like
did you have to take out Aunt May to do that?
I
Like,
feel like you could have still done that without killing her, mainly
yeah, no, I
because
agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
what really tips over for me is that like they were then like, oh, you see, this is like his Uncle Ben moment. Like, fuck off. He's like been Spider-Man for like 7 years.
I think you know what? I think another reason why I'm like iffy about this particular death is, um, for me, I don't want to stay on Spider-Man too long. Um, I feel like, I don't want to say it. I'll say this. I feel like we could have had more time with Queen Ramona. I think we could have had more time. Like if
Yeah.
she died in like maybe one of the Avenger movies that came out after, or maybe even the third Black Panther movie, I think I would have been fine. I would have been more okay with that, but I feel we didn't spend enough time with her, man. Like I think she did a great job in the first movie. We didn't see her in any of the Avengers movies, so for me, I think we were. I don't know. I feel like we were snatched. She got snatched away from me a little bit too quickly, man. And maybe it could be a bias I have for Angela Bassett because I think she's a gorgeous woman, and I would love to see her on my screen as many times as I can.
She made her presence known because
She made her presence known.
She don't get a nomination for what she was doing in this movie. I don't know what to say. Like,
yeah, so I think that's where my issue was. Like, I was like, damn, but we could have spent more time. But now that I'm hearing you guys talk about it, I think it makes more sense because now I'm trying to piece together my head. How would have had a hit if it was one of the other B or C list characters. I don't know if it would have hit as hard. You know what I'm saying? So
like if you kill one of the Dora Milaje, like the new chick, I forgot her name, but like if you killed her, it's like would impact be there? Probably not.
Yes. So and I was in the theater too when she died, and I was like, yeah, it was also very silent. Like nobody said a fucking peep because I don't think anybody saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. So from that point of view, I can understand. So I can understand.
Yeah.
But since we are. Do we want to talk about Shuri first, or do we want to talk about Riri? How are we feeling?
I mean,
what should we tackle first?
Let's go into Riri.
Okay.
I appreciate that they went all in off the rip with Riri. There was no origin story. She's clearly already sort of established in the MCU as a college student that clearly is a genius. She built her own suit, just like in the comics. I think her first appearance in an Invincible Iron Man, she's already like building an Iron Man suit in that book. Her own makeshift suit and stuff. And just like in this movie, it's the same thing. She's already established herself, and I was fine with that. They didn't, and I know some people felt like it was more like a backdoor pilot to her show. It didn't feel that way. It felt more like it's an adventure of Riri in Wakanda, and that's it. And hey, you want to see her next time? Boom, go into her show. So I think more than anything, it's going to be dependent on how her show starts off.
My fear for show is that we're going to see like a regression because they mentioned at the end, like you can't take the armor and all that other stuff. I feel like it's going to be like.
So she's going to be back to her 1.0 suit that we saw in the movie?
Yeah, basically. And like, I don't like we already went too far. You said I would be boring in
Like, ain't
comparison.
we're not getting a We're not getting a show. Ain't it a movie now?
No. Rhodey's show turned into a movie.
Yeah. So wait. Oh yeah, she is getting her own. I
Yeah.
forgot about
She
that.
her show. I think her show is wrapping up right now. And then
Oh, I
after her show,
forgot.
yeah, and then after her show, she pops up in the Armor Wars movie.
Okay, I forgot. Oh my god, I'm terrible about this. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and the Hood is her villain alongside apparently Mephisto. I don't even want to antagonize that group of people that's going to lose their mind over that, but no, I think she worked for as
Wait, hold on. I got a question. What if Shuri is Mephisto? Okay, I'm just playing. Keep going.
don't
Keep
do
going.
that. Don't do that.
Keep
No,
going. My bad.
but no, I think she worked as the kind of like the subplot as like kind of like this is the reason why she's in the movie because of course I wish they emphasized more that her teacher was the one that sold her design to the government
Yeah.
because they mention it, but then it's like, okay, if the teacher stole it, then I think they could have did a better job of really emphasizing that so that she didn't take the hit on that as much. So but I
Mm-hmm.
think she was fine. They did a good job with her. She wasn't annoying. Like I didn't think she was going to be annoying, but I was kind of curious on how they were going to play her up. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. She's a teenager. She's being a teenager. That's fine. That works. And I like how they really differentiated between her and Shuri in terms of their intelligence. It didn't feel like they're coming from two different parts of the world, so they're kind of going about their ways of things differently from one another, but they kind of are the same a little bit. So.
Okay. So what would you think about Riri? If you
Well,
mhm.
I was feeling like she could have been cut because the movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh damn.
And I was like, find another way to get no more to Wakanda because this movie is long. And I didn't like the actress they cast for her very much. I wanted to know like who else auditioned for this role because she's so little, she's so short. And I was like, and I'm a short woman myself, but I'm like, I pictured someone taller. But that's neither here nor there. It's more of a nitpick. Other than that, I didn't care either way. I don't have strong feelings.
Okay. All right. And as for me, um, I also don't have much knowledge. I have a base knowledge of Riri. I just know she gets Tony's suit, and then it goes kind of from there. So again, I kind of went into with no expectations. I thought she was a fun character. I enjoyed her when she was on the screen. I would like to see more of her in future movies. But for me, she was cool, man. Like, I remember um people were kind of going off when we got that first clip of Riri when it was her. Um why can't I remember anybody's name, bro? There was a clip when they were
Koye and Shuri.
yeah, they were all in the room or whatever, and people were giving that clip shit. I was like, I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty entertaining, and it kind of kept that same energy throughout the whole movie with her. So it was cool, man. A little side tangent, man. Hey, shout out to Massachusetts being in the movie, man. Let's go. Shout out to Massachusetts. Let's go. I recognize the bridge. I bike through that bridge every single day. I bike through that bridge today. I was like, hey, there was a fight scene was here, yo. Let's go. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, man, shout out to Massachusetts. And quick side tangent. I don't know if you guys heard the story, but I low key interrupted the filming of this movie. I think it was like a summer or two ago. I was just biking through, and it was in MIT, and somebody from production stopped me on my bike. I was like, "Oh, you can't go through here." I was like, "Why the fuck not?" They're like, "Oh, we're filming a movie. It's action scenes." I was like, "What's the name of the movie?" It's called Summer Break. I was like, okay, that's a name for a movie. All right,
Wait,
cool,
when
no
was this?
problem.
Because there was no action scene on the campus.
I don't. Maybe it got cut.
Yeah,
Maybe it got cut.
there's the director's cut. Yeah, maybe.
No, you know what I think happened? Wait, it might have been. Remember the scene when they were when the cops came through when they were in the garage?
Is that right? Yeah, I was wondering, maybe like when was this? When like what time of day was this? You were
It
telling
was
me.
that night. This happened that night.
It might have been that. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
wondering.
so they told me, hey, you can't come through here. We're filming action scene. It's called summer break. I was like, all right, cool. So they didn't tell me exactly where to go. So I literally just like skirted around, and then all I just see is just like there's a production crew. The place I tried to go through, the production crew was there, and then they were filming some shit. They were like a bunch of kids on a fucking sidewalk. I don't know if that's I think that scene might have got cut. I don't know. So then the next day I was speaking to Elvis and AJ, and then I was just like, yo, bro, guys, I think I interrupted the Wakanda Forever screening because I looked it up. I looked up what the fuck is summer break? Because there's plenty of movies, generic movies called Summer Break, and lo and behold, it was Wakanda Forever. But yeah, a little side tangent. But other than that, she was cool. I enjoyed her. Can't wait to see more of her. And yeah, man, I thought her suit was a little. I have mixed feelings about the suit. You know, I felt it could have slapped a little harder. But you know, when you see it in action, it wasn't so bad. But she was a cool character, man, and I'm kind of happy that they threw her in because I was a little concerned too that this movie will be a little overbloated because you got to deal with Chadwick's death. You got to deal with, you know, who's going to be the new Black Panther. You got to deal with Namor. So I was just like, do we really need a Riri in this film? But after watching it, you know, I was like, you know, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. But yeah, those are my thoughts about Riri. She cool, man. She cool in my book. So I can't wait to see what else they do with her. This might be. I know she got the Disney Plus series coming out. I don't like them Disney Plus series. I'm sorry, but I think this might be the first one I sit down and watch since Hawkeye. That might be the first one. But yeah, Elvis, what do you think?
Well, I agree with Sai, where like I don't think she needed to be in the movie at all. It did feel a lot more like um they were just in there. That Reba was just in the movie, uh, just to like have more, as well, just to have more connections to a future upcoming, Disney Plus show they want to do, and also, um, I guess I don't know why she's in the movie. I honestly don't know why that character could have been anybody, any character. Honestly,
Actually, hold that thought, Elvis. You want to know the original plan
what?
before they had to switch up?
What?
Um, Originally it was supposed to have Rhodey, Falcon, and Winter Soldier involved.
What?
Yeah, and Riri wasn't going to be as prominent, but they were going to. It was supposed to be some side plot where they're investigating who got the plans to the U.S. government and all that. And I'm glad that they revised that shit because that would have made the movie way too fucking busy than what it did. It would have diverted all the fucking shit away from this movie. And I'm like, huh. So the fact that it ended up switching to just Riri being at the center of this, I was like, okay, thank you, because remember, because if you look at the Ross and the Valentina subplot in this movie, it ties into those three being in this movie a little bit. So
Oh shit!
yeah, they did a
Oh,
lot of revisions, and I'm like, oh, thank God they didn't put that in there.
Okay, good. Like that makes more sense now because those parts are even like more like, why the fuck are we even doing here? What are we even? Those parts don't even have an ending.
Oh, trust me, I was with you on that. On like, why is Riri in this movie? But like I said, I didn't mind it, but I understood people that
Yeah,
did. And then when I read up on what the original script had, I was like, oh, thank God they took that out.
yeah.
Wow,
Okay.
thank
All
God.
right.
okay, so like
Oh.
overall, I enjoyed Riri, but my main issue, and that I also enjoyed, but I feel like it's kind of on the nose, is that they recreated so many shots and scenes from Iron Man 1.
Yep.
And I get it. I get what you're trying to do, but why? Like, it's so on the nose. It's so blunt and blatant. Like, oh, can't we just have her be like her own character for just a little bit, But like, it happens even up until the end. They're just still reusing these shots. Like we get it. We get it. All right. But no, I thought she was really entertaining. I thought she added a lot of like a nice amount of
Levity.
levity, but also like perspective to the movie. because like otherwise you're kind of left like, when you don't have Ross kind of in the middle of everything now, and even then I think Ross is like really insanely boring in the first movie anyway, um, which is a shame because he's such a fun character in the comics. He's like a boring ass white man in like the movie. Um, he's a little better here, a little better here. But like, I think that she like kind of fills that role, like the kind of objective third party, and her reactions to things, while everyone else is like insanely embedded into like this world, this very unique kind of world, and so like you need that distance, and I think she provided that really well. I like the suits. I like the 1.0 suit better because it's a lot more grungy, and then the second suit is just so refined. Like you need something in the middle there, you know. Um, I wish they didn't look so sleek. It looked really sleek. It looked really refined. It looked really streamlined. I'm like, it
Very
should be like
Wakandan.
exactly, but like this should be like her fourth suit. You know, this shouldn't be like the immediate one. Like I get it. You want to have like a really kind of cool, fully formed like design for the character, but it just felt like less. It felt less true to like what they were setting up with this character in the movie. Because that's not it. Like it's more grungy. She's like working out of a garage, you know.
Mhm.
So like it lost a little bit of personality, you know. Because even with like Iron Man 1, Robert Downey Jr.'s kind of like, you know what, let's do Firebird Red, you know, like he's like making that his own. He's fine tuning it. He's treating it like a sports car, but that's like his personality, and she's a little more
Yeah.
grungier, you know. So it didn't feel that true, but she's a fun character. I don't think she needed to be in the movie at all, but she was entertaining, and you know, whatever. There's been worse characters in these. Like I don't like again, Ross is so boring. Oh god, he's boring.
So we didn't like so how'd you like him compared to the first one? I
A
thought he
little
was
better, a little
yeah.
better, but again, he's just a time suck.
It's like
I know we can do a little bit of a side tangent real quick. Old girl, I, I don't know why she was there, man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, I, I don't know, man. I feel like we could have done without. Like, I think that was like the only part of the movie I was like scratching my head.
I
Like,
get
I
the
see what
gist.
they're trying to do,
I
but
get the gist of her, but it's just like if you're going to do it, you could have fine-tuned it to where it's just one beat where she's there and they establish her behind the scenes stuff. Like when you saw her in Falcon Winter Soldier, she pops up recruiting US agent. And I'm like, all right, I get what you're doing.
yeah,
You got some shit going on behind the scenes. Cool, got you. You could have did the same thing here. And the fact that she's there and it's like, hey, I want Wakanda's, vibranium. I'm like, I mean, I didn't really need that little thing because as soon as she arrested them, that was it. And you're like, that was it. Like, no follow up to that. Like, all right.
yeah. That was a little odd for me, but now we could move on, to the real star, the real star of this fucking movie. All right, y'all. We talking about Shuri. We talking about Shuri. I know we held off on this for a while, but I kind of wanted to warm us up a little bit.
She acted her ass off. I can give Letitia that. She came to play.
Go ahead. Go, take it off, CJ. Go ahead. Go.
She came to play. She came to work. I mean, despite the rumored stuff behind the scenes with her being anti-vax and all that jazz, she clearly came to play and she acted and she did a pretty good job. Definitely acted. I mean, Letitia's always been a really good actress. Something else I agree with Elvis on is that, her kind of coming to her own in that third act, I wish that it could have been a little earlier, but I also like the aspect of her, like when she is, when she takes the heart-shaped herb and she goes into the celestial planes, boom, she meets Killmonger instead. And it plays up to her. Because number one, a lot of people didn't understand. I'm like, no, like they established that she really isn't with the ancestral plane stuff. She never believed in it. She just believed in tech and all that. So like she sees Killmonger and she sees her anger. It's like, no, that makes sense. Of course she would see him there. Perfect sense, and I like that it didn't play up on like, everybody on the internet saying Killmonger was right. And it's like, no, she checked him. Like, no, like this, like I'm here because you did this, and then he's like, well, you can either be like me and get shit done, or you can be like your brother, take your pick, and then boom, that's it. And Yeah, it did go into kind of like a stereotypical thing where she chooses the noble option and stuff, but I think that was probably the better thing versus, them copping out and killing the Moor. That would have been
Mm,
fucking stupid if they did that shit.
yeah.
Or would it? Because it would have been really funny if after he said Imperious Rex that he got fucking murdered. That would
Man,
like
look,
no, but
look.
it was still funny because like again this is what I mean, like they captured him so well in this movie because like I'm like when I first saw this movie first started we started more like, is he ever gonna say Imperious Rex? And that's my
You said
entire
it.
thought through the entire movie, and then he does, and then the minute he says it he gets blasted and he gets knocked out, and it's amazingly funny. I'm like, this is the best movie I've ever fucking seen.
I mean, and I think it's great because it's like, yeah, of course he's gonna do that. Because, like I said, I think her not going into her anger like Killmonger, that's how she ends up becoming leader. Even though it looks like M'Baku is kind of like the de facto leader of Wakanda now, because I guess maybe she might have pushed it. I don't know how legit that is. I need to rewatch it to see how true that is. But like, yeah, she realized like, hey, I have to be like my brother and be smart about this, which makes total sense. And so I like that character progression, her finally finding a way to meld the old with the new together, and it works out well and stuff. So granted, like I said again, that's a plot that is used on a lot of stories, but it was fine. I was fine with it.
All right, all right. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think I kind of already merged this together with a couple of my other what I already said before, where I felt like they really had to fit this in as practically as they could, as pragmatically as they could. Like they were really trying to make sure that these plot beats hit, and that's what I meant when I first said like you can tell like there's a lot of covering their bases, and I think Shuri's character arc is really kind of formed by what's implied a little bit more than what's shown at times or said at times. Um, and like it's a very thin line. Like the movie is very. What I think sets the movie apart and what makes it such a unique movie within the MCU is that it's very ordered. Like it's ordered in a way that's
Mm,
narratively sound. Not like not like an MCU movie where like, oh, we have an executive saying this character needs this much screen time, this character needs this much screen time. It's more about like this theme needs to be as you know blatant as it needs to be so your audience gets it or the character makes sense, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. I didn't expect this from Shuri. Shuri in the first movie I thought she was kind of lame and very she was kind of just there in the background. I didn't get a sense of Shuri in the first film, and then like in the movie it does a really great thing where like she's still at that stage in the beginning of this
yeah.
movie. So like she's the Shuri from this first movie, and all the stuff that kind of happens throughout. It's very purposeful in like showing exactly why these individual story beats are affecting her and pushing her along this direction. And I really really enjoyed that. I thought it was really entertaining. I thought she was a very compelling character by the end. And honestly, great Black Panther. I thought I really liked the final fight. I really liked like the strategy and the emotional kind of vulnerability at the end.
Okay, okay. Sai, what you think? Let's go. Oh, so Sai still with us?
Wait, what was the question?
How you feel about Shuri?
She's so thin. But other than
What?
that, she's so skinny.
God damn.
But other than that, I think she had an excellent performance, and I think we just got the best that we could get with what we had,
Mhm.
and it is what it is. Not my first choice for the type of Shuri she is. The Shuri that I read about in the comics is not the Shuri that we have on screen.
Mm,
That's a recent change after the first movie. She was not this scientific, fun-loving kind of like late teenager, early 20s girl. She was a grown woman that was also a warrior with a bit of uh, an angry streak, I think. So I think that sort of person would have been a better Black Panther for this movie and not the scientific Shuri that we have. But
Mhm.
like I said, this was unexpected. And so we got what we got, and it's okay.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I thought Shuri was cool, man. And again, I agree with Elvis. Like, the first movie, I feel like Shuri was, just there. She still did her thing, but she was still more the background. And with everything that happens, I understand why she got more of an elevator role. Um, you know, I do like the whole Killmonger aspect, how he helped, like really, push her into the Black Panther role. And I do like how she was like the blunt of she was the blunt of everything that happened, and the personification of pain. You know, clear personification. She lost her brother, then she unexpectedly lost her mom. Now she the queen, and then now she got to be the Black Panther. So it's a lot, and I think she did a solid job. I also enjoyed that last fight with her and Namor. Um, that was pretty raw. I ain't gonna hold you. That might be one of my most favorite MCU fights
That
in a
fight,
very long time.
that fight was better easily than Killmonger T'Challa final fight.
Oh fuck yeah.
Cause like the Killmonger T'Challa final fight, it was way too CGI and it undercut the dramatic stuff that T'Challa and Killmonger were talking to each other during the fight. So it's like, all right, they got some good points, and then boom, back to CGI fight. And in this one, Namor and Shuri didn't have to say much. It was in the fighting that kind of echoed the sentiment of where they were sitting at. Like Namor, so it resonated way better than that first movie fight.
And I agree with you, and also too, like, Shuri was, you can tell she was out for blood during that fight. Like, she made sure Namor had no sort of advantage. Like, you could say that, oh, I want to make sure he is on his knees. So when I deliver that final strike, it is finito. I like that. Listen, I like it when characters get into their ruthless bag, and Shuri got into a ruthless bag, and it was unexpected for me, and I enjoyed it a lot. Her being Black Panther, for me, like, we already knew what it was, so that wasn't too much of a surprise for me, honestly. I think her Black Panther suit looks pretty ballin'. I don't think I'll have any issues with the Black Panther suits, because you know they I think whoever the costume designer was, just they took their time on them suits. They took their time, and this one took their time. So it was cool to see, man. I enjoyed her, stepping up, being the leader, her leading the tribe, how she handled Namor. And, I'm more looking forward to a third movie, because now the challenge is, okay, how do I sustain that? How do I balance being the scientific brain while also being Black Panther, while also being the queen? That's like three roles right there. So I'm very curious for that. But and also too, while I'm here, I do got to apologize, because I ain't gonna hold you. After a while, I started to buy into the rumors a little bit. I tried my best not to. I tried my very best, but the way everything just kept coming out, and I feel bad for her also, because it's like homegirl suffered a very bad injury while she was in Boston, and then she's dealing with that, and then to have to deal with all these rumors that are coming in left and right. I'm sure that wasn't easy. I'm sure that was tough. So salute to her for pulling through. Salute you know salute to her for not being recasted like everybody thought they would, like she would be. She pulled through, and I think she brought her A game here, like for real, for real. So I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to see what the future holds. For Shuri, and I don't know how if we're ready to go into that conversation yet, but like, but yeah, let's go into that conversation, because we are hour in, man. So we seen the movie. We saw the movie. The end credits scene is, T'Challa was, T'Challa was up in Haiti, doing this little thing with homegirl, and they had a kid. And I also want to put this out there too, as a Haitian man, I'm very happy that my country got to shine, because my country is going through a lot right now. If y'all don't know, like it's crazy out there, for them to put high on my country, I really appreciate that. Like that brought a lot of warmth to my heart, because if you pay attention to everything that's happening, politics wise, Haiti going through it. They just assassinated, they got rid of the president, and it's just been turmoil. So for me to watch a movie where they're portraying my country in a good light, wholesome vibes. I don't know what the situation was like for Ryan Coogler and everybody else who was down there, but for them to go down there and really film that and really bring the wholesomeness of Haiti back, I appreciate that. But yeah, little side tangent. But yeah, there's a little T'Challa running around, man. T'Challa was doing his thing over there. So I know everybody was talking about, oh, recast T'Challa. Hey, this is recast T'Challa.
If I can say something, I was one of the folks going recast T'Challa, and I'm not going to apologize for that, because I think it before, like, I gave up on it, like, after they had started filming, because, like, it's a done deal. You're not going to change anything. It's too late. But I'm so glad that they went this direction in comparison. Now, there's a bunch of like criticism about the direction, corny, and that kind of stuff. And I agree, it's very corny. It's the kind of thing you would see like in a kid's cartoon. Like he's got named the fucking same. I don't know why. So whatever. Kind of corny. But it's so much better than those fucking rumors that, like, oh, we're gonna use the multiverse to get into the T'Challa. Like, that's so dumb. I always hated that. I like, whenever someone brought it up, I was like, that's the stupidest idea I ever fucking heard. Like, Secret Wars is coming, and then there's gonna be a new T'Challa when they reforge the Earth or something. Like, that's so dumb. That would be so disrespectful. Because I really like, because not even the same character. You have an other universes T'Challa, and it'd be so ridiculous. So, out of all the different possibilities, little kid T'Challa is probably the least, I guess, unnerving. Like, okay, we can all breathe a bit. But again, this goes back to my original idea: is that they should have just a time skip. Just skip ahead 15 years.
Okay, so.
I have a sneaking feeling, coming off of Secret Wars, we're probably going to get a older T'Challa.
Same. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yep. My hope is that isn't like a result of, like, Kang or Beyonder shenanigans, that we instead just skip ahead naturally 15 years, something like that. It'd be so dumb again, and be also just embarrassing to me. In my mind, to be like, oh, here's Kid T'Challa. Oh, but we have a time traveling villain who can mess with time. That'd be so lame. Just take the bold step and just move ahead a couple of years.
I mean, listen. So I'm not opposed to that, right? I'm not opposed to that 100%. I see where you're coming from, but like, if this was like the DCEU where timelines don't really matter, they kind of just doing whatever, I think I would be more okay with that. But the problem is that, like, if you skip ahead 15 years, it's, you also got to remember, it's like, this is part of a greater universe,
which is why MCU needs to end. MCU needs to end.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but I know we can do what ifs, all we want, but I think we got to remember, like, this is part of a greater universe, because, like, you can't just have the Black Panther storyline jump 15 years and then everything else kind of goes on willy-nilly. That's why, the first thing I said when I stepped out the movie theater was just like, yo, okay, right after this Avengers movie, whatever's going to happen, something's going to happen where that kid is going to age up. And then by the time we get to the third movie, all right, cool. What is going to be a challenge for the throne or
Jonathan
some.
Kent vibes, man. You give me
Hey,
John. This is
yo,
exact. We don't need to redo Bendis here. All right.
no, like I said, I see what you're saying, but for me, I'm trying to think of this as like logically as possible, and I understand it's comic books, but I think we're gonna. I just see it, man. Something gonna happen, and it makes sense. That's why it makes sense that there's gonna be two Avengers movies like back to back, like, and as hey, that's what those Avengers movies are, ensemble movies. So it would make sense for for all these storylines that we've got to kind of collide, and then at the end of it, it sprinkles out into the individual movies because that's where we are right now in Phase 4. So I think that's what's gonna happen. Like I also would like a natural progression. I really would, but you know it would just be too disjointed. So all right, cool. 15 years that's so you tell me they're going to just cut out 15 years of story and then we got to deal with it again. It's for me, it's too janky. It's too janky. That's why I see them doing the Avengers route. And and I do believe, Ryan Coogler and whoever else, they're going to sit down and they're going to make sure this shit is done as thoroughly and respectfully as possible. I don't think it's going to be no bullshit. I think if we're going to do this, it's going to be done right. So that's my theory. And also, too, I put Homeboy on the screen right there. I just want to give you guys a fair warning. Any other bullshit actor they're just tossing out there, I'm putting them on the screen just for shits and giggles. But yeah, that's what I think. And we got Prime here. He said it's going to be Kang. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So here would be my compromise, right? Is that
Mhm.
after Secret Wars, right? Then you just kind of use that to do the time skip, like for everyone. Because I don't want us to get. I know the temptation. The temptation would be we need an adult T'Challa in Secret Wars and all that stuff. I hope they don't. I hope they
And
don't.
that's the thing too. A lot of people that, because again, I don't want to paint things in wide swaths, but it's like the Snyder Cut where you have a vocal minority that's kind of they co-opted whatever the movement was originally supposed to be. Like the Snyder
Mhm.
Cut, originally, a lot of people were not fans of the theatrical cut of Justice League, and they wanted to see Snyder's version. Fine, I get it, totally. And it got co-opted into, oh fuck the DC, they don't, and it's so
Yeah.
a lot of people, some people within that recast T'Challa movement are very much, we need adult T'Challa. But to be honest with you, this is just a hot take. I feel a lot of them, when they post all these different moments of T'Challa in the comics, they like the T'Challa moments, but they're not realizing we need an actual T'Challa character.
Oh my God, yes. People posting like pages from Secret
Mm.
Wars, and it's like, like T'Challa isn't that important in Secret Wars. Like
Yeah, he's like one part of it. Like he ain't the
his
whole thing.
his storyline goes nowhere. People are like, oh,
So it's like you
T'Challa
should.
has the T'Challa has the Infinity Gauntlet, but like the joke is that the Infinity Gauntlet doesn't work because they're in a different universe.
But not even just that. It's like I want a T'Challa that's an actual character, not just some dude that's just bad at. Like he was badass in Civil War, but people forget like he went through kind of a quiet character arc because he was out for revenge, and everybody was mad that he didn't kill Zemo. I'm like, no, 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 because in his head it's like, well, what am I going to get out of killing Zemo? No.
Mhm.
Less bullshit in like Falcon Winter Soldier. That's what.
Well, yeah, that
He
too,
should have
but
killed
like.
him.
But like but that's the thing too. Is like you gave T'Challa he's an actual 3-dimensional character, not just some dude that's just badass and that's it. Because like you said, it was like everybody brings up the Secret Wars thing. I'm like, that Secret Wars was more about Reed Richards and Doctor Doom.
And even then, just barely. Like Secret Wars is such a non-story. I hate it so much. The thing is, and whenever everyone thinks about Secret Wars, right? All they take is the multiverse aspect, but they don't take the fact that all the cool stuff happens in Secret Wars 1 and Secret Wars 2. All
Yeah,
right? All the cool stuff. So, that whole entire big moment where like basically Doctor Doom steals the power of the gods. That Secret Wars 1, all right? And that's one of the most iconic Marvel moments of all time. I was like, oh, but think about Secret Wars. Doctor Doom becomes, leader of Battleworld. But like, he does nothing, and his wife hates him, and that's the story.
yeah. So it's like what people going back to it though, people want the adult T'Challa, and I get it, but at the same time, it's like, well, we have this kid now. It's a good time to actually see him grow up. So, like, if
Mm.
you're gonna have him in Secret Wars, I would rather you just give me alternate dimension T'Challa. If you really feel you need an actual adult Black Panther, and still keep the child and let him grow up to where he gets to that point. Because I like the idea that T'Challa was like, no, I want him to have a normal childhood, and if he gets to that point to where he wants to, you know, be in that position to come to Wakanda and be on the throne, cool. I want him to make that decision. I don't want to just put him in there. So I'm like, all right.
Wait, hold on. Sai, I do want you to I do want you to speak. Actually, you know what? No. Sai, you go. I would love to hear your thoughts because I have a nagging thought in the back of my head, but let me flesh it out some more. So, Sai, go ahead. I would love to hear your thoughts about the whole new Black Panther thing. We talking about the end credit scene. What do you think?
Toussaint, yeah.
It's tough because I think it makes sense to have an adult T'Challa, but after hearing you guys talk, I love the idea of seeing this young boy grow up to become the Black Panther and seeing that hero's journey. I don't know if I've ever seen that played out in a movie that's not Batman. I would love to see something like that, and I wouldn't have thought of that. I have the patience to watch that happen. I don't think the general fandom has the patience to watch that happen. So I
Agreed.
think to appease the fans, they're gonna find a way to age this character up.
Bingo.
And I
Patient.
think
Dang.
when did we see that? When did we see where one person got older while everybody else stayed the same age in a matter of
Man,
seconds?
I think Robert Downey's Iron Man is the only one you saw him get older as the movies went. Honestly, if you really think,
I
No,
got
in a
Goku,
shorter amount of
Goku,
time. It was
Goku.
Cap. It
yeah,
was Cap going back in time to live his life. Then
yeah,
he came back in 20
I
seconds and he was an old man.
I have a compromise, right? During the Kang Dynasty, right, we get both. Right? We have adult T'Challa and young kid T'Challa, right? And we have like fun, and he's like, "Oh, I came back in time because I'm like part of this Avengers resistance in the future against Kang," you know. And then you have them interact. It's a fun little scene. And like, "Who are you?" And like, "I'm you from the future." Like, do like a Terminator kind of thing. All right, something like that, where you have them both in the same time, and then the end of the movie, right? Kang is defeated. That adult T'Challa kind of just fades away. We can still keep the little one for a little while longer. And Black Panther 3 is about him being like mentored by Shuri, and she's like now in this whole role reversal where she's the older one. You know, she has to teach someone right from wrong. You know, show them the ropes, that kind of thing, and complete like that arc. You know, full circle.
No, like I said, I like where y'all going. I like where y'all heads are at. I just remembered something. Bro, there's a whole Wakanda series that's supposed to come out for Disney Plus. What if we see him go through that hero's journey there? Like, what if we see him grow up there?
yeah. Because I mean, Coogler's production company is behind that. Because I think he signed like a 5-project deal with Disney Plus, and that includes Wakanda Forever. So
Exactly. So we can have,
oh yeah, and Ironheart. Yeah, Ironheart and the Wakanda series and Wakanda Forever is 3 of them. So that's 2 more that's left afterwards. So yeah,
bro, Dormant. If Ryan
that could go into this is his way of doing the hero's journey to give people the T'Challa that they want. So yeah, that makes sense. Okoye's there as the Midnight Angels. I guess that's going to be his World of Wakanda type vibe, I guess.
Boom. We just did the math.
Get rid of those suits, though. Get rid of those suits.
Those suits were a nice
Ugly.
effort, but they just did not execute well.
Like
Yeah,
they don't need that much armor. We've known that already. Like I get the point that you're going against like super strong like like Aquaman level like density kind of super
Yeah, you're going
soldiers.
against Tuma, so yeah. But I would rather a non-powered version of that suit.
Or like or you can just kind of like gauntlets, like
Yeah,
Shuri
just the
used.
gauntlets. Yeah,
Shuri used those kind of things in the first movie, so you don't really need a full suit that looks like the Predator,
yeah, yeah. I mean, it
or
worked.
not even Predator, but like the Predator killer suit
Yeah,
from
I
the
mean, it
end of
worked. It worked well in the comics when it was used sparingly. So yeah, you don't really need it in the series proper. Just keep her as like a blue version of the Dora Milaje. She's just rolling solo, and I'm like, all right, cool. That works.
Yeah, I could. So I think that might be the best way to do it. And honestly, the reason why it slipped by my head was because we haven't heard jack shit about that that project in a minute, but outside of like the initial announcement. So they could cover their tracks right there. So by the time we get to Secret Wars and Black Panther 3, we should be good. And and again, and honestly too, I'll just sidetrack. I don't even think the folk that are so for recast T'Challa even thought about that, man. I don't think they thought about that either.
I mean,
No one has. But what do
everybody
you
was
do
so
with the rest
focused.
of the cast? Oh, I'm
Huh?
sorry.
No, no, everybody was so focused on, oh my god, they didn't get to tell Chadwick's story and da 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 da. And I'm like, no, I get it, but like bigger picture, guys. That's why, like for me, I stopped theorizing. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit back and just watch because there's no point in theorizing. WandaVision pretty much killed. Marvel pretty much solidified. Hey, there's no point of assuming anything. Just sit back and watch it and
Mm-hmm.
just go for the ride. I'm like,
Hey,
all right, cool.
I got it right. Daniel Kaluuya, all right, Kaluuya, all right, and like you could have like a scene, right? Because he and obviously T'Challa, like right, they never got to reconcile, right? And so now you
Mm.
have his son, and you could like have like a thing between them, him making amends like that.
Ooh, okay. All right. See where your head is at. Okay.
What about the rest of the cast? Those are beloved characters.
Namor kills them all.
Mbaku, Okoye, they're gonna be what 5 years older in real life, but we're jumping a decade or more for one character. Do we just give them gray hair? Are they still able to fight like hand-to-hand combat, or do we have a new Dora Milaje? Is Okoye like a spiritual leader at this point? Like, how do we reconcile this one character growing up in real time, but keeping like usually you keep the same cast?
Mm.
How do they address that portion without magic or technology aging one person and no one else?
I mean, I would be honest.
It
I'm,
worked for
I'm
the
gonna
X-Men
be.
movies, just keeping
I'm
the
gonna
same
be
cast.
honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if they ride around that to the point where it's literally just um little T'Challa that gets aged up. I wouldn't be surprised because I see what you're saying. I can't see a future where 15 years everybody gets that same time jump. I wouldn't be surprised because of the situation. It's just that character, and like I said, if this happens again, we're just theorizing here. If it happens, it will probably be done in the most, like I said, respectful and logical way possible. Because I can't, yeah, I would be asking those same questions. Okay, well, if you're gonna age him up, what about everybody else? So I can see easily a scenario where some way, somehow, little T'Challa gets thrown into the mix, and then I don't know, maybe he touches something he not supposed to. I don't know.
See,
And
that's
I
the
then
have an
thing.
idea.
That's the thing. Like at that point, you're bringing in T'Challa, and then you're young T'Challa, kid T'Challa Junior, and then you're just kind of ripping him away from his family, just him, in order to age him up and keep everyone else the same. Like again, a time skip, a line wide time skip. That way, you move ahead all the movies would make the most sense. Because otherwise, again, you're getting to that point where like, do you really want to have like a movie where like Shuri's like mourning the fact that she never got to like see her nephew grow up or something? Because that's just again, too much. So
Yeah,
age everyone.
Yeah, and yeah.
They can. The only other option is to send him like outer space or to send him back in time. Those are the only ways I've seen like where one person ages or they avoid that, which I would hope they wouldn't, because we already saw people go back in time in the last Avengers movie. I don't know if they can do that again, but that was the only other way I'm not that creative, so it's just me. But I'm like, we saw Captain America go back and live his full life with what's her face, and he came back in 5 seconds as an old man. Come on.
I'm sorry. I'm
Like,
sorry. I'm sorry.
First off, ma'am, that was Joe Biden that came back, not him. So
yeah.
um, second off,
I'm sorry.
second off, you putting Ryan Gosling as Black Panther.
You really did.
I'm all for anarchy. I'm all for anarchy. I'm all for anarchy, you know, and I'm also all for seeing what geeks and gamers say about this and shit. Because you know they'd be like, "Whoa, hold on now, why is Ryan Gosling White Panther?" Like, you know,
Hey,
I
man,
just
listen.
want to see the racist fans fucking trip over themselves if this happened. I'm just saying, like that would be hilarious just for that.
Yo, Aki said nah. And then Prime said Gosling is Al Simmons. How dare you?
First off, Prime, I mean, that's still a better option than
Yeah.
non-existent Al Simmons in that fucking A24 Spawn movie and shit.
I have no
Oh,
idea why they're still like. It shouldn't be this hard to make a Spawn movie, especially.
Dude, the fact that they're ducking around it because they're trying to cost save, and I'm like, why? So you're going to
What?
give us a Spawn that
Well,
we don't see?
But
Like,
the thing is, right? Even if they want to cost save, you could still do it. Like, it seems like they don't want to go out and say it's going to be a Sam and Twitch movie. But like, you know what? People like Sam and Twitch, so
yeah,
no problem. Just make a Sam and Twitch movie. No one's going to be like, "Oh, I can't believe this is a Sam and Twitch movie." If they're a Spawn fan, they'll be like, "Oh,
trick
cool."
people. You could trick people into watching the Sam and Twitch movie, and you'd be fine. You'd be
Yeah.
great.
nah, so like I said, I don't mean to detract from the conversation, but yeah, I'm throwing my hat in, yo. Yeah, Ryan Gosling, I don't see the problem, yo.
Hey,
Like,
make him.
hey,
You know what? Fuck it. Make him Casper Cole. Boom, done.
honestly, you know what? I ain't gonna hold you. Let's
I
be
mean,
clear.
Casper Cole is, I believe, black and Jewish, so I don't know if that will work. But
You know what? I got a great one. You know what? Y'all keep talking. I'm gonna make the image, so I'm not gonna say anything. Let me set up the conversation and
Casper Cole,
let
White
me
Panther.
throw.
Ryan Gosling is
No.
White Panther.
It better be Jake Gyllenhaal next.
Man,
Hey,
listen.
hold on.
Hey, I saw him in ambulance. I'm like, he might get me, man.
Yo, you know what? Fuck it. While I get this image together, let's talk about some of y'all's crazy Black Panther T'Challa recast. So go ahead. Go ahead.
I say Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
You're going out there, man. That's Jake Gyllenhaal, man.
He
Don't
can
know
do
what to tell you
anything.
on that one. Somebody's gonna clip this out and be like, "These black people wanted to see a white person as Black Panther." Like, they're just jokes.
Hey, listen. This is
First
the best.
First off, Prime, you mentioned John Hamm. John Hamm will be a good T'Chaka. There you go, right there. That's a man that would be T'Chaka.
John Hamm. Well, for real, go ahead. Like, let's shoot the shit for a little bit.
O.J. Simpson back in the day would have been a good Black Panther. To be fair.
O.J.
That's a good
Simpson?
choice. Hold
Back in
on,
the
wait a
day,
minute.
like, man,
He's too light. We have to have a browner.
the 80s didn't care. They would have
He
still
gotta
cast.
be white or he gotta be dark skinned. No in between.
That's true. That is true. Could get like Glenn Plummer back in the day.
I mean, I'm trying to think of a crazy one while I like throw up this image. Let's see who would be a good fucking T'Challa. Let's see here.
I mean, if we're talking current day, I know you brought up old boy from the first Purge. I know a lot of people wanted him.
What is his name? Elon?
Yeah, he was in Insecure. He was in the first 2 seasons of Insecure.
Forgot his name.
But yeah, they wanted him and
I like him.
old boy that played Hawkman and Aldous Hodge. People thought that he was apparently. I think Aldous Hodge. I thought Aldous, from what I understood, Aldous Hodge did audition for Black Panther. And they went with Chadwick instead, but he was like their second choice if something happened with Chadwick, and he couldn't do it.
Well, too late now.
I can't see that one working out. Nah, that one.
I think it could work. I mean,
I think it would have worked. I think it would have worked.
I don't know if he could pull off the accent that they were probably.
No,
I think he can. I think he can do the accent and everything, because I think I saw a clip of him joking with an accent, and he did pretty good with that. The only thing that's gonna suck is like living up to Chadwick Boseman's performance and not, being able to endure the comparisons and the crazy questions once they get on the press tour for that.
And that's the kicker.
That's gonna stink.
That's the other side of it when it came to people wanting immediate recast. It's like, do you really want to put a new person on a hot seat like that for this movie? And it's not just the fans, the critics would be like, yeah, the movie was good, but the one thing is the new person that's T'Challa,
They ain't Chadwick.
Yeah, that would have been the lingering thing, like they ain't Chadwick and shit. And the fact that they got that little kid and he looks like he could legit be like the kid of Lupita and Chadwick.
That was some good fucking casting, man.
Like, goddamn, that was yeah.
I think we should get young T'Challa, like you guys said. I mean, they can go with like a teenager one, like 15, and kind of age him with Miles Morales. I still think the fandom will hate it, but I'd love that. A much younger one. And like I wouldn't mind wanting him to go back in time to try to save his dad and end up like
I see it
coming back.
The best thing to do would be to have both old T'Challa and kid T'Challa same time, because that way you can
be the old one.
Oh, who cares? But like that way you can be like, okay, have your Kiki too. We don't need to age him up, but you can use that older one to like see it in the Kang plot. Maybe come back in time to stop Kang. That kind of stuff.
It would be easier if the uncle was still alive. It's hard.
Hold on. All right, so guys, this is my choice. This is my choice for the new Black Panther. We already know Scarlett Johansson is a black woman.
That's too easy. All right.
Come on, man.
It's too easy because everybody uses ScarJo for jokes. We're past that. We're past this.
I think she make a good Black Panther, man.
I nominate Finn Jones to be Black Panther. There. I see. Finn Jones to be Black Panther. There.
I'm on board. He's so good looking. I really don't care what he does.
Fist a chance.
Wait, hold up. Wait. Oh, you said Homer who played Iron Fist?
Yeah.
Give Iron Fist a chance.
Hey, you know what, bro? Listen, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
Manny from
the
Mexican actor.
Yeah, he's
isn't he Girls?
I'm about to say, I was like, isn't he Blue Beetle?
I'm just going off looks now. I'm just picking all the actors I'm attracted to. Manny.
Let's see. I have another good one here. Hey,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh,
he's short, but we can make it work.
Yo, you know who would be a good one, yo? Cress Williams. Black Panther, was it Black Lightning?
Who?
I can see it. The dude who played Black Lightning.
Yeah, Cress Williams.
Yeah.
That's his real name?
Yeah, Cress Williams.
He was in Living Single.
But that's the name I've been calling him all these years. I had no idea what that man's real name was.
Yo.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, I just came up with a good one. You know what? You know who would be redeemed in the eyes of the public if he played Black Panther? Hold on. Actually, no, no. I got to put this up on the street on the screen. I don't want to just say it. Hold on. No, no, no,
Ezra
no,
Miller,
no,
you're
no, no,
Ezra Miller, aren't you?
no, 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 no. Oh no, no. Fuck that. No, hell no. No, 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 no. And I'm picking the right image too. Hold on. Give me a second. I am gonna lose so many fucking subscribers. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Yo, man. Let's make it happen.
Bro,
Let's make it happen.
the
Let's make it
accent would
happen.
be awful.
Excuse me?
Look,
The accent.
Will
look,
can
look,
pull off accents. I don't know what you're talking about.
look.
Chameleon.
The only reason why I don't want this is because I need WB to cut the bullshit. And if they really like money, get Will Smith back as Deadshot, get Idris Elba back as Bloodsport. Supposedly Deathstroke is supposed to be in the next Suicide in like the Amanda Waller thing. And I'm like, if you don't get these three in the one movie, that's money lost on the table, man.
Hey,
I need my Bright too. All right. I need it's a disgusting travesty of justice.
Stupid movie, but
I
fuck
don't
it.
know, like
Bright was so fun. Bright was so fun. And I hate people were like, oh, Max Landis wrote it. But the thing is that they don't take into account that David Ayer rewrote like 90% of the script, and Max Landis was like, my script was better, and I disowned this movie. So I can like it without any without any kind of hangups. All right.
All I'm saying is this: like when it comes to this whole thing with Will Smith, he might get tapped by the MCU. Don't know who he play. Maybe he might be part of the X-Men. Might be somebody else. Who knows? But I feel he's gonna be in the MCU in some way, shape, or form.
Speaking of X-Men, I thought it was really funny that people are saying that, like, oh, the more aging slowly, it makes complete sense why you can have like Magneto and Professor X still be young, but they don't take into account that like when Namor was like 90 years old, he was like 6. All right, so there's no way you could have Professor X and Magneto be like from the Holocaust times, World War II times, and have that make sense.
I mean, they already established like the Eternals had something to do with like the progression of mankind, so it's not out of the realm of that's how we're going to get mutants.
But no,
so, like you said, it definitely doesn't even make sense to have like if you want to have mutants age slow, that's cool, but not that fucking slow like
exactly. Like
I don't mean to interrupt, but this is also my other choice.
The non-actor man who can't act.
Hey, first
excuse,
off,
time out.
Great, he's actually pretty good in that.
Okay, this is one of my other choices for Black Panther, Stephen Amell. I think he did a pretty solid job as Arrow, and I think he'd be great as T'Challa. You know, especially multiverse T'Challa, because we gotta stop ignoring the fact that there's so many different multiverses, bro. One of them multiverses gotta have a white T'Challa, bro.
One Stephen Amell would be a great Killmonger, sir.
Right?
Stephen Amell.
You know what? That's not bad. That's not bad. But I still think he could be a good Black Panther. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. This will be a good redeeming point for him.
Just saying. Just gotta hit that out the park, you know. So I see it. I see the vision. But yeah,
Prime. He wasn't Casey Jones. He was the best cop in the world. I'm a cop. I'm a cop. I'm a good
still
cop.
laughing that he really sat there and was like, "I'm Casey Jones." I'm like, "Bruh, like we get it. You're Casey Jones. Cool, got you."
Hold on. I got one more.
Robbie Amell, Aki, is a better actor than Steven, because Robbie Amell knows how to like be funny on purpose.
Hold on. I got one more. I think this one's going to be a good one, and then we're going to have to wrap up because I know it's getting late. But this would be my ultimate choice for Black Panther. I think everybody would agree. I think this is unanimous. So it would be Jason David Frank.
First off, JDF, really, JDF. All right, cool. I see you. I see the vision. I see the vision.
See,
I understand it. Not saying I agree with it, but I understand. Totally get it.
Listen, like I said, in one of those thousands of multiverses, all right, there's a white man as T'Challa. All right,
crazy white man.
Crazy white man, but we can definitely, I can definitely see it happening. But yeah, listen, I know it's late. I know I'm keeping Psy up because I, wait, hold on, he was already Black Ranger. That's okay. He could be Black Panther too. Okay, he could be Black Panther too.
I mean, yeah, you did play Native American, so yeah, fuck it, why not? Par for the course.
Oh,
Par
Aki said he
for the
played.
course.
He played Native American. He
Yo,
sure he
yo,
can play Black.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, listen.
A man said
But
there,
yeah.
like I am 1/16 Cherokee, and you gonna eat, you gonna deal. All right.
Hey, listen, sidebar, yo. It's wild how they tried to play that off, man. They really had that white man going playing like he was a Native American, bro. That is insane.
We knew
That's
no better, Oliver. We knew no better back then. We were
yo,
like, JDF fucking Native American? Damn, I didn't know that. It's
yo,
long hair, I guess. Shit. All right.
yo. Listen, I literally because for the longest time, like as a kid, I didn't know these episodes aired because I only just watched them randomly.
Yeah.
So it wasn't up until recently when I did a rewatch. It's like they really had these white people portraying themselves as Native Americans, and he is the whitest of them all.
Wouldn't be the first. Wouldn't be the last.
Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh. But yeah, let's wrap up. I just want to say thank you guys for coming through. This was a great time. Yeah, we definitely gotta do this more often, man, because I love chopping it up with you guys. You guys are amazing. I love your takes. Y'all are funny as hell. So yeah, but thank you guys for coming through. Elvis, Cy, CJ. As always, it's love. I appreciate every single one of you guys. But yeah, I'll let you guys plug yourselves. Let's see. Elvis, go first, man. Go ahead, plug yourself.
Well, you can find me on YouTube at Unsourced Wall Radio, where I do my own kind of unboxings, video reviews, movie reviews, and also on my Twitter at the Snickman _ between the and Snickman, where I just do a bunch of all these different takes. For as that might change. Who knows how long Twitter is going to be around?
Oh, that's very true. All right, all right. Sai, you want to go ahead and plug yourself real quick?
My name on social media is PsychoFly, and all my accounts are locked.
Damn.
But you
So
can
you,
request me.
yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, yay. Hey.
All right, hold on. See, accidentally, hold on. Let me switch this one to right there. Yours, CJ. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, you can find me on my personal Twitter, at CJ WizGeek on Twitter, and at Three Black Geeks. I've been kind of bouncing between both profiles. You can find our Three Black Geeks stuff on Instagram at Three Black Geeks, and also our YouTube channel. Got a lot of content that goes on there. I'm currently streaming God of War Ragnarok, so I'm getting back in the fold on that. And upcoming Morphin Metacast on Kaku Ranger coming up this next week. So yeah, and I know a lot of folks are like, "Hey, you guys going to talk about some of the comic book movies?" I'm doing the end of the year thing because I get kind of burned out trying to jump on talking about the movies immediately after it comes out. And I was like, bump this. I'll just do it another day. Just keep it moving. So, but yeah, that's it for me.
All right, all right, all right. Appreciate you guys. As for myself, y'all can find me on Roliver Queen _ on Twitter. Y'all know the deal, man. Talking about booze, comic books, and pretty feet. You know the vibes. Y'all can find me on YouTube, which you probably are already on right now. Just dropping content as much as I can. Thank you guys for 437 subs. Appreciate the support. It's still insane that I have this many subscribers. I appreciate all the support. I promise I will get back, to the deep dives. You guys said you wanted more deep dives. Them deep dives take fucking time, man, and a lot of fucking research. And I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I be tired when I get home from work. I am a company man now, as much as it pains me to say it. Yeah. So but I promise I will get back to those. Just please be patient. But I'm trying to flood the streets as much as I can with my commentary content. But yeah, thank you guys, for the support. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for showing love to all my people here. One more time here, I just want to say thank you to Elvis, Cy, and CJ, for taking time out of their nights. And we gotta do this again. So we will be back. Thank you guys. Much love, much peace. It's your boy Roliver Queen. Everybody, please be safe. Have a good night, and we are